Next season will see the Cadillac F1 team take to the grid for the first time as F1's brand new 11th team. They arrive with a fan-favourite lineup of Sergio Perez and Valtteri Bottas, both bringing their vast experience and skills to the team to try and make their first season go as smoothly as possible. On paper, it looks like an incredible lineup for the fledgling team. However, Cadillac are an American team, with actual development work happening in the US. They want to lean into that. They want to become America's team, and to do that, they think they need an American driver. New team boss Graeme Lowdon has always said that they would only hire a driver on merit, even if they were American, and at the moment, there isn't an American driver who would be expected to outperform Bottas and Perez in F1. So, Cadillac's going to create one. Today, I'll check out Cadillac's plan to create an American F1 driver and how it's going to instantly put the pressure on Perez and Bottas. So, don't go anywhere. When the Cadillac F1 team was created, there was so much talk about them potentially having an American driver in their first season. Some wondered if they would go to Logan Sargent to fill that role, or maybe bring in a rookie F2 driver like Jack Crawford. Andretti's IndyCar drivers Colton Herta and Kyle Kirkwood were another option. Some even looked to NASCAR Xfinity and Connor Zilisch, who had stated previously that he wanted to begin an open-wheel career. While all of them are fantastic drivers in their own rights, there were plenty of problems with all the options. Logan Sargent had his chance in F1 and failed to impress. Jack Crawford is a contracted Aston Martin driver, and they probably wouldn't be happy letting him go. The IndyCar pair were lacking super license points to even be allowed to race in F1, and let's be honest, Connor Zilisch might be a promising talent, but Cadillac aren't going to be picking up NASCAR drivers anytime soon. The reality of the situation was that there wasn't an American F1 driver that Cadillac could sign. Or at least not one who would perform better and be more deserving of the spot than Sergio Perez and Valtteri Bottas. Mark Royce, the president of Cadillac's parent company General Motors, said the decision to hire those two was based on the driver's experience of wins and podiums in F1. He described the choice of Bottas and Perez as a really good winning combination. Bottas, who turned 36 recently, won 10 races for Mercedes, for whom he drove as Lewis Hamilton's teammate from 2017 to 2021, also scoring 20 pole positions during that time. The Finn last raced in F1 for Sauber in 2024 and is Mercedes' reserve driver this season. Perez, who's now 35, has won 6 Grand Prix, 5 for Red Bull between 2021 and 24, and once for Racing Point, the team that's now known as Aston Martin, back in 2020. The Mexican was dropped by Red Bull at the end of last season despite having 2 further years on his contract, after the team felt he'd run out of time to prove that he could provide the required support for Max Verstappen. Dan Torres, Chief Executive Officer of GM's partner TWG Motorsports, said Cadillac had considered signing a young and up-and-coming driver before confirming this lineup. Their experience, leadership and technical acumen are what we need, Torres said. We're humbled by their belief in us and this project. There is a young pool of drivers who are exciting and very talented, so it was a tough decision, but it was the leadership of these 2 drivers that stood out. As Mark Royce said, the 2 drivers they have are a really good winning combination, but they probably aren't the future of Cadillac. While they are relatively exciting, they aren't young and they haven't got a long future in F1. But as I've already pointed out, all the young and exciting American drivers are either a bad choice or ineligible to drive in F1. Cadillac wants to change that though, so they're creating their very own American F1 driver. IndyCar driver Colton Herta has joined the new Cadillac team as a test driver in 2026 in an attempt to earn a route into Formula 1. In addition to that, he's quitting IndyCar to race in F2 next season in his bid to compete in Formula 1. The 25-year-old American has failed to secure enough super license points in IndyCar to qualify for a license to race in Grand Prix, despite winning 9 races since 2019 and finishing second in the IndyCar Series last year. He does have experience in European Formula racing, having spent 2016 touring the European F3 Series with the Carlin Motorsport team. He had some success, finishing 3rd in the Euro Formula Open Championship with 4 race wins. He was also Lando Norris's teammate at Carlin in the 2016 F3 season, replacing the now McLaren F1 driver for the Brands Hatch and Alton Park rounds, winning 1 race of the 6 he entered. As Dan Torres said, Herta was taking a big risk by abandoning a successful IndyCar career to race in F2. Torres said, I'm confident Colton will get his shot, but he's got to earn it, right? He's taking that risk. He's not entitled to the seat. He's not guaranteed the seat from that standpoint. He's going over to prove that he belongs in Formula 1. What I applaud most about him is his willingness to be uncomfortable. When you come to a fork in the road, the most comfortable thing he could have done was say, "I'm well paid, I'm going to stay in IndyCar and go try to achieve this next thing." But he chose the unconventional path. He's going to be going into F2. He's got to learn tracks, he's got to learn tyres. Tyres are a big part of that, very different from IndyCar from that standpoint. And so I just couldn't be more proud of Colton to be willing to take that risk to pursue his dream. It is going to be a big switch for Colton, but he will have a lot of advantages. By the second round of the 2026 season in Bahrain, he'll be 26 years old, which is practically ancient by F2 standards. That experience will be a massive advantage to him, especially with 7 seasons fighting at the sharp end of the IndyCar grid. He's also going to have the financial backing of Cadillac to help him. Everyone knows that money speaks in F2. You can buy yourself plenty of advantages. F2 teams are limited in how much money they can spend themselves, as there isn't anywhere near the same amount of money to be made in that series compared to F1. So if a driver comes in with big monetary backing, they can get far more testing time and better equipment to gain an advantage. Cadillac are obviously keen on making Herta an F1 driver, so they will be backing him with money. It isn't just the fact that he is American, though, that is giving Cadillac faith in him. 4 years ago, when Dan Torres was supporting Michael Andretti's bid to purchase a Sauber F1 team, Herta was seen as a driver who could make the leap across from IndyCar to F1. Unfortunately for Torres, Andretti and Herta, the deal fell through at the last minute, but it was not before the 25-year-old American had delivered an eye-catching performance in comparison to the drivers then with Sauber in its Alfa Romeo guys, the 2007 world champion Kimi Raikkonen and Antonio Giovinazzi. Referencing Andretti's bid to buy Sauber, it really started Colton on this journey, where he really started to show a lot of promise in Formula 1, said Torres. He added, he went over to Switzerland, got on the simulator, and within an hour was faster than the 2 Formula 1 drivers with the team at that time. Being faster than Kimi Raikkonen is no small feat, even if it was Raikkonen at the end of his career. So what does all of this mean for Bottas and Perez? Well, both drivers have confirmed that they have multi-year contracts. Perez has said in multiple interviews that his is for 2 years. The question is, does that mean a flat 2 years, or is it a 1+1 contract? The same question can be asked of Bottas as well. Is the base contract for a year plus an option for an extension, or is it for 2 or more? The truth is, we don't know. It seems incredibly unlikely that Herta will want to stay in F2 for more than 1 season, and Cadillac will want him in an F1 seat as soon as possible. He has 35 super license points at the moment and needs 40 to drive in F1 in 2027. One of those points will drop off at the end of next year, and that means that he needs to gain 6 super license points over the course of next year to drive in F1 in 2027. He can get those points by finishing at least 8th in F2, which for a driver of his quality, with the funding from Cadillac, should be easy enough, and to be honest, if he doesn't manage that, then he shouldn't be driving in F1 anyway. He could also drive in F1 free practice sessions, earning 1 super license point for each race weekend he completes 100 kilometers of driving in free practice. So Cadillac can essentially guarantee he has a super license for 2027. So the question then becomes, who does he replace? At first, it seemed like the pressure would be off of Bottas and Perez. In a brand new team with a multi-year contract, it seemed like it was going to be a fantastic environment for the two to work together for the team and help build them up. Now though, with Herta waiting to replace one of them in 2027, the pressure is going to be on both to perform, because they will literally be fighting each other for their F1 future. What do you think of Cadillac's choice to build Herta into an F1 driver? Do you think bringing him in to replace Bottas or Perez is a good idea? Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and if you haven't already, make sure to press that like button down below. Until next time, drive safe and bye for now.